Hi, as we continue our woodworking journey and we're going through our different joints that we're learning and exploring together, we've gone through butt joints and how to secure them and fasten them using different methods such as nail guns, fasteners, and dowels. Today we're going to be going over the rabbet joint. Now, just to make sure we're clear on what that means, this is over here, okay? A rabbet joint is when, you can kind of see here, see that right there? It cuts a little ledge and goes all the way across. Sorry, don't mind my pencil marks. That reminds me where I need to sand, so I don't forget. Okay, so this is called an end rabbet, as we can see here. End rabbet, it's at the end of the board, edge grain, as you can see here. The next one is called a through rabbet, right here. I got an edge rabbet. Right there, it would be on the edge here. I don't have that at the moment, so that's why I drew it. Forgive my drawing, I'm an artist. So we draw it there, okay? We cut it here. And then right here is the same thing. It's called a stopped rabbet. The difference is instead of running all the way through, it's gonna stop halfway before you get to the end. Now, the difference here is this, like, why isn't this a rabbet? They call this a groove because it's gonna be running in the board and it's running with the grain. If you ever hear like a carpenter say, oh, we're gonna be doing dados, that's gonna be like a groove, but you're gonna be going cross grain. Like that, okay? So today, let me move this out of the way. Today we're gonna be going through how to cut an end rabbet by hand with a saw. Now everybody has power tools, so I wanna show you guys how to do this. Here's our wood that we're gonna use. You're going to need, I'm using a Japanese pull saw. It's my Japanese pull saw. They're awesome. Okay, then you're gonna need, I like to use a marking gauge. There's all different types. This is like a Japanese version. I like it because it has a nice large area to keep the board straight when I'm marking. Simple to use, untighten, figure out where you wanna mark it. It has a little blade there, go like that. This is another one like this. Simple, has little markings here. You unscrew it here. Okay, like that. So first step is we're going to have to mark where we want it to have it cut. So we're going to need some clamps. So let me do that real quick. There we go. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to secure this down so I can mark it. So the beauty of a marking gauge is that once you set it, you can just go. So I'm going to set this one right about here. Okay. Now the two places that you're going to have to mark it is right here and right here. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's this line there. So we'll just mark it with the pencil, make sure it's easy to see. Right there. Pardon me. Not the best line, but you can see it here. Next line we need to mark is right here. So I'm gonna have to go sideways. Okay, now that we've got that secured, same thing. Now we're gonna figure out how deep we wanna go. Usually when you're doing a rabbet, you want, like, this width is determined by the thickness of the board, and then this is determined how deep you want it to go. Usually I like to go about 3/4 the way in, depending on what you're trying to do. By the way, rabbets are great for making like boxes, cabinetry. So again, we're gonna mark this over here. There, okay. Put this here, hold it firm, and then mark it all the way across. There we go. There's the marking gauge. There's the line. Let me sharpen this real quick. Stay in the line. Okay, so I'm gonna mark that line here. Then I like to do is highlight the area that I'm going to be cutting out so I don't cut out the wrong area. The biggest issue you're gonna deal with when you're cutting with a handsaw is keeping it straight. So I always like to put a guide that I can use. Usually it's a scrap of wood that's straight. If not, you can use like a level. I don't really like doing that in case I mark up my levels. Levels aren't cheap. So let me grab that, 1 second. Almost forgot, really important. Let's go back to this. After you've marked the top, side, you do want to go back and mark this area. Just for demonstration. Okay, so now I've marked these two sides. Now I know how far to cut. Okay. So again, the biggest issue is keeping it straight. So first off, I'm gonna secure this. Put this on top like this. See, so this is what my saw is gonna be going against right here. So I've got that right there. Okay. Okay. Now that I have that done, I'm not gonna be too worried this is going off course. If it does, it's gonna be into here. But again, we wanna make sure that we don't go too deep into that. I'm gonna be using this saw here. It's a pull saw, which means it only cuts on the pull action, which I find helps to make more accurate cuts. So we're gonna start here, go against the saw. Sweet, now I've cut this. Now we're gonna flip it over and cut it the other way. Then I want to guide again, so I'm going to put this here, like that. Okay, got our guide set up. Now, you could try to do this by hand, but I wouldn't recommend it. Again, same thing, we're going to go here, follow the curve, and come back and forth. Oh, let me get that. Okay, so now we've cut it off, but we're gonna have to clean it up with the chisel because some stuff broke off here and we wanna make sure everything's level. So we're gonna go through that. Now remember, when going through a chisel, go with the grain, because if you don't have it really sharp, it's gonna splinter and split the wood. So let's do that real quick. Okay, nice. And there you have it. We've done an edge grain, an edge rabbet with hand and chisel. Not too bad, definitely could get better at it. For a quick review, what we did here by hand with a saw is what we call an edge rabbet, okay? We did this with a hand and saw. In the next video, I'm gonna be doing it with a router bit, and then we'll also be doing it on the table saw with a regular saw blade, as well as with a dado blade. So, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Hope to see you again.